we talked about the camera angles. We talked about how to cover things up. This past week on WWE television, there was a reshoot of sorts, and a very odd reshoot. And if you've noticed, or if you've seen, I don't know if you have, but John Cena and Logan Paul are now in a little bit of a rivalry that's building.
Okay.
And there was a segment filmed backstage that I'm going to play on the screen for you now.
Oh, what happened to Brock Lesnar?
Oh, he's still around, but this is like the in-between. This is still this is like the in-between filler John Cena feud.
Okay.
All right, so take a look at this.
I just heard from Brock Lesnar. Oh, Logan!
Okay, what'd you see?
Can I see that punch one more time?
Absolutely.
Just one more time.
I just heard from Brock Lesnar. Oh, Logan!
You got some air on that one. It was a live segment.
That was a live segment.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it aired. Sure.
So it got some air. So explain, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, it was clear that there was no connection with the face. He didn't really come close to him. So he got a little bit of a breeze. He got some air. I would have rather seen a forearm or something, because if you're not good at throwing punches, at least with your forearm, you can kind of connect and not hurt the person. You can control the way you throw your arm into somebody's face or body or whatever. But a punch, if you don't throw a good working punch, it could really look bad. So did this get a lot of backlash?
Well,
hey, sorry to bother you. I just heard from Brock Lesnar. Thing is, what? How's that for A-game, John? You do? Oh, I'll see you in Paris. Whoa! Get out of here, look. John, you okay? We need medics.
That looked much better.
They reshot the same segment.
Like
nobody, like pretending like nobody saw it.
Right.
That's, I mean, look, that's WWE for you. That's brilliant. They make you, you never saw that. That never happened.
But do you think they did it from a different angle just to make like the person think that, oh, it's the same shot, but from a different angle? Like, because this time it was from the back, right? Yeah. So are we that stupid that we have to believe that, oh, it's just from another angle? It's the same thing.
I don't even know how to justify it. It's so dumb.
The verbiage is different at the end with Logan walking off. He wooed at a different time. He did something with his arms at a different time. Like, it's not the same one, right?
Yeah.
But it looked a lot better.
It looked great.
Sure did.
So, I mean, I don't know if they just decided they played the wrong one.
If they shot it live, now they could have did something that they call live to tape, where they shoot.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe the guy hit the wrong one when they were going through it.
If that might have been a live segment because you heard the crowd, maybe that was shot live.
It's just, to me, I've been in attendance where they've had to reshoot things that didn't go correctly, but it's hidden because it was a taping, so it's like, all right. I've watched, there was one I can remember. It was a tables match, and I think it was Triple H and John Morrison was the opponent. And the spot was supposed to be Triple H throwing Morrison off the top rope through the table for the victory. Well, Triple H threw him off the rope, and he overshot him, and his hand hit the table. That's how the table broke. And they had to reshoot the whole thing where they changed the complete direction where he was throwing him from. But they did that in front of you. Like, okay, they're just resetting it. Pretend like you didn't see that.
Because on TV or whatever for their tapes, it's going to look different. I remember Sabu. I think we were at the arena, and he was doing something where he had to it might have been a springboard moonsault off the top. And he fell while doing it, he fell off the ropes. and you get the "you fucked up" chant or whatever, and he just walked back in the ring, went back, did the second time, and it was perfect. And it aired that way. They showed both, never cut it out. People are human. It happens.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. So this kind of stuff does happen. But I'm thinking if that was a pre-tape and it looked that bad, they never would have shown it. They would have had him do it over again. So that, to me, that tells me that was a live segment. That was done live that night.
Yeah, it must have been. I mean, but
it had to have been, because why would they have aired that?
But why would the camera be in that spot if that's where Logan was going to come out with the punch? So like whoever produced that just had them all in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I don't know. The second one was much better. And even if he did miss on the punch, you can't tell because of the way the angle was. The cameras can make or break you.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you get a good camera angle, you can miss it by a mile, but it looks like you got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
So, it's very important to Iggy the cameraman and let them know where you're coming from. I told you before, I was always pinching our camera guys to let them know, like, something's coming. You got to either get out of the way or make sure you get this spot, because if somebody forgot to tell them something, they're not going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So even like before we would tape, I would go up to like either Charlie or Ron and I would say, hey, I'm going to do this. When you see this, make sure you get this. Oh, okay, no problem. And you let them know, because not everybody does that. And sometimes they're not familiar with what you're doing. They might miss something, So I tried to be helpful when I could.
That's very helpful. That's almost like, that's great. I would like to tell you that we predicted John Cena versus Logan Paul 2 years ago on Eyes Up Here. The video is on our YouTube channel, and we posted it February 9th, 2023, and picked it as a WrestleMania match.
Wow.
So, yeah, the fact that we're getting to see it now.
We were wrong about the WrestleMania match, but we were right on the money with a feud with those two. I'm telling you, I love Logan Paul. The more I see him, the more I like that guy. So I am a fan.
This is only going to help him. This is only
John Cena's
he's got 10 dates left, they said, after this past SmackDown. 10 dates, and Logan Paul's in the middle of that. So, I mean, look, if Cena, he's put over some guys in his time. If he can do business, he can make Logan Paul such a rock star. Awesome. If he put over Logan Paul on the way out. So we went from a shoot killer punch to a phantom smoky, missed him by a mile punch.
That's all right.
I couldn't believe that they were like, yeah, go for it. And my mom, who's the sweetest, but her biggest concern is always me getting hurt. Was always very like, do you want to do that? Why don't you try to be an actor or something? But now she's like my biggest fan. Like if I post something, it's like the first like I see is like my mom. I'm like, Mom,
that's great.
So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Who ended up training you?
Huh?
Who ended up training you when you decided this is what you're going to do?
Well, very ECW. This is a ECW all the way around. Spike Dudley trained me. So I got into like the New England indie scene, and Spike was training at Top Rope Promotions, a place called the Lockup Academy. He had started running in Fall River, and I kind of didn't know what I was doing. I was just bouncing around trying to get advice and have anyone train me. And someone came to me and was like, "Listen, if you really want to do this, Spike Dudley has a school." And so I was living in Boston at the time, and then I just started driving, the hour down to Fall River every other day to train with Spike, and it worked out in the end, I think. So.
I think you're doing pretty good for yourself.
Jeez.
Yeah, Spike is great.
And I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know anything about necessarily Spike as a human. I just knew what I saw on TV. So I'm like, man, I'm going to Spike Dudley school. What is this going to be like? Is this going to be like I know nothing at the time. I'm like, am I going to be, doing ECW hardcore type training? And Spike just blew my mind with the amount of knowledge that he had about every, like, technical wrestling, mat grappling, high flying. He knew everything. He was just so smart that he knew that this was his path to make money in the business, and, you know, really went for it. But I always bring up, there's a match between Spike and Rob Van Dam that's like on a house show at ECW that I like found one time going through the VHSs at the old school. And where like Spike looks more like Rob Van Dam than Rob Van Dam does. He's doing all this high flying stuff. He's like blowing my mind. I'm like, Spike, why didn't you do this all the time? He's like, because I wasn't going to make money being the small guy doing the same stuff RVD was doing. I was going to make money getting beat up. And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I know nothing about wrestling, please.
Yeah, his deal was just getting thrown in the audience, and the fans ate that up. It didn't matter if it happened once or a million times. That spot was like iconic, and they loved it. So
yeah, he was great. He was great to me, and still, you know, to this day, if I go back up to Rhode Island or Massachusetts, you know, I'll try to find a way to see him here and there. But it seems like he's doing good. He's got a family now and stuff like that. So, you know, thank you, Spike. Thanks for everything.
Oh, I love that. So you start training. When do you get your first big break, and how do you transfer over to ROH?
So, like, it's weird because I feel like a lot of things happened very quickly for me, and it was, I think, more because New England there were so many places, so many schools, so many shows, so many companies in New England, and then also New York and New Jersey. That whole Northeast, from Philadelphia to Boston, is just a hotbed of wrestling. And, you know, it's like almost like being born, like raised in a pressure cooker, where it's like you got to kind of find your way out of here. And there's so much pressure in this little area that diamonds are going to just start shooting out of it. And there's so many good guys that came from that area: Mike Bennett, Tommaso, Warbeard Hansen, or Ivar, whatever he is now. And it's like all those guys were all at like the same age at the same time in the same place. And we all kind of were like, I don't care how far it is. We're getting in the car together. We're going everywhere. And it just happened very, very quickly. And there's a place up in the Northeast called Northeast Wrestling that they get, you know, they do baseball stadiums. They have great, huge shows up there. And I was just going to do ring crew one time, and some guy ended up dropping out of the show last minute. I had my gear. Next thing I know,
your gear. That's the most important thing. Always bring your gear bag with you.
Oh, of course. So next thing I know, I'm in the ring with Big Daddy V getting like squashed. I'm so green. I have no business being in the ring with anyone at this point. And like those pictures will be iconic for me forever, because it was like the first time that it was like something big that I did. And after that, I just started kind of rolling with Northeast Wrestling and really kind of my friendships with other people from Tommaso and Mike Bennett. And as they had been in the business a little bit longer. So as they were kind of going to other places, I would just really tag along and be like, hey, if you need anyone, here I am. And I would do that at Ring of Honor. And it was just one of those things where same situation. After a certain amount of time, if you're that kid that's always around helping out and is just there and has their gear, there's going to be a time where they need to fill a position.
Yep.
And the same thing happened with Ring of Honor. And I always kind of told myself, you know, these opportunities don't come every day. So like if you have the chance to do it and get in front of people, you have to come ready to impress. So I did a bunch of darks for Ring of Honor for a while, really almost for like a year and a half, 2 years. And then finally, you know, one day Jim Cornette came up to me and was like, Matt Taven, I always thought you were a puppy with big paws. It's time for you to grow into those big paws. I think we want to sign you to a contract. I was like, I don't know what you just said besides sign you to a contract. I'm all for it. So
I don't know what that means, but let's go. So what year is this now?
Jim Cornette. So,
no, what year?
Oh, this is 2012. So like I signed January 1, 2013 with Ring of Honor. And it was crazy. There was so much of us that signed at the same exact time. Me, Adam Page, Silas Young, who's still at Ring of Honor, ACH. We all signed on the same day, QT Marshall. And it was just kind of like a new class had come in. And we were like, and I look back at it now. I just was at Jay Lethal's school last night, and he's got all these old DVDs of Ring of Honor, and I'm pulling them out and reading them. And I'm like, man, this is like year one for me, and I have no business being on this show with any of these guys. All these, it's like Kevin Owens and Claudio and Chris Hero. It's like all these guys that are so good. I was like, I had no business being on that show at that time, but I'm glad I was able to stick it out and stick around for so long.
But see, the thing with you, and this is the first time we're actually meeting, but you're humble, which is so nice to see. It's refreshing because a lot of these.
You're going to ruin my gimmick.
Well, you're kind of ruining your own gimmick, by the way. You're handling yourself, but it's very attractive to see because there's a lot of guys who come in and they think that they're the shit right away. And they should be, on top right away, and they don't want to pay dues, and or they come from they were on TV as an actor, or they did this or they did that, and they think they're entitled, and right away they should be in a main event spot. So you sound like you came in the correct way. You had your mouth shut, you listened, you had your gear bag, you're ready to go. So it's nice to hear.
I'm sure there'd be plenty of people that say I had my mouth open because I'm sure I ruffled plenty of feathers along the way, but I agree. I think that that's one of the most important things. And luckily, as things started evolving in the New England wrestling scene, there was an opening for kind of like a new school to pop up with a promotion up there called the XWA. So me and Mike Bennett started helping train at the school. And that was one of the biggest things that we would tell people, like, you're not entitled to anything in wrestling. Like, and not to name drop, but I can remember Shawn Michaels saying to like a group of us one time, like, wrestling will make 0 sense. It makes no sense. So stop trying to make sense of it because you'll drive yourself crazy. All you have to do is continue to try to do what you're doing, and hopefully something breaks. And, I can't tell you how many guys come in, especially guys that, and it's, I understand it. Guys that come from athletic backgrounds or come from MMA or some shoot fighting, they'll come in thinking like, I can beat everyone's ass here. Why am I not the champion?
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't work like that. There's so much more than just the competition that comes in the ring. That, it's nice to kind of pass those lessons down. And I have to really credit like guys like Mike Bennett, who were always super humble, and that they were, bringing me along to places. And I was kind of seeing how humble they were and how people would respond to it. And I was like, okay, I know nothing about wrestling, but I know that if you're, Tony Toughnuts over here saying that you should be champ and like you're too good to set up the chairs, you're not going to get very far.
We just came back from the big one, the big signing in Albany. What was it called? I was calling us Team Extreme.
So it was like, I think they were just saying it was an extreme reunion.
Oh.
Captain Nick, too.
Captain Corner.
It was the happy hour virtual signings last night. Jack Victory, Francine, Jerry Lynn.
We killed it.
For hours upon hours into the night.
For 42,000 hours, we signed.
I was so tired.
I was so exhausted.
By the time I got on.
I said to myself, when will this end?
I said to myself,
listen, when will this shit end? But no, it was very fun last night.
Yes.
And then myself and Jerry and Jack Victory, who I loved seeing because I haven't seen him in forever,
yes.
And Nick, the captain, who looked like the Captain and Tennille guy, we sat around and we talked until about 1:30. We did, and that was a lot of fun, even though I was dying. Mm-hmm. And then I get all the way to my room, which was about 4.2 miles from Jerry's room. It was very far.
Yes.
And I realized I didn't have my freaking cord and my charger.
Borrow the charger, yes.
And I thought Jerry was going to be a gentleman and walk it to me, but no, he pulled the I'm in my underwear story. So I had to get my fat ass back on the elevator and go up to the 4th floor. I was on the 1st floor.
And you had cute jammies.
I did.
Yes.
Thank you. I was in my pajamas and got my charger. And then we started our day today. We had a really nice turnout.
Yes, we did.
And it was great to see Mustafa because I honestly have not seen him since ECW.
Really?
Oh, really?
That was the first. This is the first time in 20-something years.
Wow.
Great.
Yes, that was great. I sat with PJ. PJ was great. Sandman was great. Everybody was great. Yes. It was a great day.
It sounds like the Mutual Admiration Society.
Well,
great.
Today there were no qualms. There was nothing that I could complain about.
Chill crowd. For sure.
Chill crowd.
Everybody.
Very happy to see us. very, very happy we were there. You know, thanks for coming out. I love when they say thanks for coming out. You know, and I always say thanks for having us.
So that was your second signing since returning.
Since COVID,
right?
yeah.
Now, Jerry, was that your first?
I think it was my third.
Third? Oh, well.
Oh, Jerry beats me.
Like in person?
In person, probably second.
Interesting. Okay.
Same.
So we're starting to move back.
Yeah.
In that direction.
We're starting to get a little normal. Well, Jerry and I, you know, when we got there, Jack Victory was doing his virtual, and we didn't want to knock on the door and interrupt in any way. So Jerry was starving. And we said, oh, we'll take a walk and we'll go to the local Wendy's, which was right across the road. And we didn't have a car. And we kept bumping into the same gentleman. He was trying to also go to Wendy's. And the drive-thru was open, so we figured the store was open. And we went to go. And we met the man who must have walked the other way.
Yes.
We both met. And it was closed. So as we're walking back, the man says, oh, do you guys want to get in my car? And I said, so you can kill us? I said it to Jerry, not to the man. We declined, but it was very nice of him. Jerry, you didn't want to get in that man's car, did you?
No.
I mean, I think you would have protected us, but I mean, what if he had a gun? What if we got in and he had a gun?
That serial killer.
Yeah. He could have been.
He was the Albany Marauder.
The Albany Marauder.
Yep.
He was very nice. He's like, you think you guys want to get in my car? I think not.
Yeah.
No. So, Jerry, tell us about the lovely dinner you had.
The delicacy.
Yes.
Yeah,
What did you end up having, Jerry?
Luckily for us, they had a little snack area in the hotel by the front desk.
Yes.
They actually had frozen dishes.
So.
So I had a lean cuisine fettuccine Alfredo.
And he dipped his sweet potatoes into the fettuccine.
Potato chips too. I thought these will be healthier. They're sweet potatoes.
It was.
So put it in the microwave in the room and heated it up, and it was pretty disgusting.
It was pretty disgusting. And what pissed off Jerry more is that I picked out a Twix ice cream bar because I have done nothing but eat crap this weekend, and I got mine for free. And Jerry had to pay. How'd you feel about that, Jerry?
Jobbed out again.
Now, is it easy though as a wrestler? Do you always run into little quirky things like this?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
So
Then I got it for free?
No, the Wendy's is closed.
Oh.
You gotta, you know, there's some little quirk.
It was
that always pops up.
One thing after another. Well, I only got it for free because Jerry paid. Jerry was a gentleman. Jerry offered to pay for my candy bar or my ice cream bar, and I said no. I got my ice cream. Jerry paid with his credit card, and I had a $5 bill in cash. She couldn't open the register for a cash sale, so she wanted to charge the room. Now, I didn't want to charge the room because I don't like the promoter getting the bill. I felt bad. To which she replied, we'll just put it, what did she say?
Something I'll put under comps.
Yeah, we'll just comp you for it. I was like, ooh. And Jerry goes, oh, yeah, you got it for I said, Jerry, I'm so sorry. You were so salty at me for like 5 minutes.
I was just like...
At her?
I did say jobbed out again.
And it was delicious, might I add.
That's great. This question was submitted by the Chadster in Virginia.
He's a loser. What a schmuck. At schmuck12345.com.
The Schmuck of the Week brought to you by the Chadster.
Okay.
I have a question regarding a photo that I'm going to bring up.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Is it
I need to know the origin of said photo.
Oh, I'm scared.
Okay. Please let me know the story behind this photo.
Okay.
So for those listening on iHeartRadio, I just brought up a photo of, I'm going to think this is this Big Show era? Paul White.
Paul White. Oh, I don't know.
Cradling Francine and, like he's going to toss her across the room or something.
I don't know if this is, this might be WCW.
This is that's what I'm saying. Is this the giant Paul White?
Giant. I think it was So I did a convention somewhere. I was in ECW still. So this is the 90s. And they sent me to do a convention.
And I remember I'm sitting at the table and this guy walks up to me and he says, Paul White wants to meet you. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, Paul White wants to meet you. And I go, okay. And he goes, well, you need to come in this room. And I'm like, what? So I think I had a line or something. I was like, well, let me finish signing. And when I take a break, you know, if you want to come back and walk me over there. And so this guy comes back and he takes me into this room and there's Paul standing there and a million photographers come running into the room and Paul just comes right over, picks me up and everybody starts taking pictures. It was one of the most awkward moments ever. And I was just like, well, nice to meet you. And I think we shook hands. I don't even remember having a conversation with him. And then I went back to my table and that was that. It was very bizarre, very weird. I don't even know how it came to be, but I was summoned into this room by Paul White.
Well, there you go. So
there you go.
There's my question on the origin.
I was in there for like 5 minutes.
What a random, I saw weird. That. I was like, I've had that in my photo roll for like a month. I've been saving it, and when I saw this show pop up, I said, "Well, now I got the perfect time."
That's so funny. Yeah, every once in a while, somebody will post that on my Twitter. I'm like, here it is again. It's either Paul or Luger, one or the other.
That is so. That's so random. So WCW the Giant meets ECW's friend. What a crossover! A meeting of the two companies.
Yeah, but
that's big news back then.
I was summoned into the room. It was like, you need to take her into this room. And I was like, and then it was like weird. As soon as I walked into the room, it was like a press conference and all these cameras ran. And I was like, I don't know what's happening now. And he just scooped me up and it was the most awkward thing. And I'm just like, ta-da, okay, see you later. Yeah, it was weird.
And joining us today is WWE Hall of Famer, the great Bushwacker Luke.
Hi, handsome.
How you doing there, Francine?
I'm great. How are you?
Bloody lovely, tell your mother.
Oh, my God. I love the voice. I can listen to you, sir, all day long.
Let's get close quarters. Whoa.
My husband won't mind. Come on over. How have you been?
Good. I've been good. I just, after a 16-month layoff, I'm back on the road.
I just read, I'm going to start with that. I just read that you just worked in May wrestling.
Since the 10th of May, I've worked 4 shows.
What are you doing?
Back on the road. Hey.
Are you loving it?
I never went off my premises for 7 months.
True. A lot of people haven't. I mean, it's been a year.
You know, I just go to the gym. My family, we haven't gone out and eaten or anything. You know, anyhow, we online?
Oh, yes. We're rolling. We're live, we're going right now.
Are we? We're rocking and rolling.
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you feel being back in the ring? Because you did retire for a little bit and you did some autograph signings. You're out and about, but now you're working again. How's your body feeling?
Good. The only time I was out of the ring was when I was booking IWA in Puerto Rico from 201 to 209 or 208. I was out of the ring, but I've been in the ring since then.
So you've been working a regular schedule up until COVID?
Until COVID, yeah. Well, you know, working when anyone wants to book me.
That's true. Well, that's the life of a wrestler.
Not everybody wants a dinosaur.
You look wonderful.
This year I'm 75 years of age.
God bless you. You look wonderful. As handsome as ever. Let me tell you.
Mate, I'm like, hey, Francine, I'm like a car on the front of a car light, all polished up, open me up, and I'm a lemon inside.
No, you are not. Do you know, you won't remember this, but I remember this. The first time I ever met you and Butch, we were doing, I don't remember where it was, but we were doing a signing. Might have been before you guys came into ECW. We were doing a signing. It was an outdoor signing. I was sitting at a table And you and Butch come walking down. There were stairs behind us, and you just came over and you both licked my face.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. And that was my first.
And we've never been the same since.
I haven't. It made me a better person.
No, you're okay. We haven't.
That's hilarious. I loved it. Well, you started wrestling in what, 1962?
Yeah.
What made you want to be a wrestler?
My next door neighbor was a bodybuilder, and he went to Mr. New Zealand, and he placed second. The judge for the show was a past Mr. New Zealand, 1950 Mr. New Zealand, and he said after the show, the judge said to my neighbor, he says, "Do you want to make some money with that body?" And my neighbor said, "How?" He says, "Well, come into this gym in Wellington, which is 8 miles away," he said, "and we've got wrestling rings there. We've got 2 rings there, not wrestling, boxing rings." Now, this gym was like the first Rocky movie. The steam room in the back with the pipes rattling, all kettlebells lying around the floor. There's only a squat rack and a bench press rack. No other machines, and that was it. And then they had 2 boxing rings. They were about a foot off the floor. The floor was the boxing rings. The floor was as hard as the floor you're standing on. And 4 ropes, 20 feet apart. The ropes, in New Zealand, the commission, it had to be 20 feet apart. I don't know why, but that was the law. And, there was always 4 ropes. It wasn't till Jim Barnett came into New Zealand. You heard of Jim Barnett, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Jim Barnett. He opened up Australia, WCW in Australia in 65. And when he came over to New Zealand later on in the 60s, we went down to a 3-rope ring, and it was rounds too. The main event was 8 minutes. And
wow.
if you didn't do 6 rounds, the people wouldn't come back. They'd think they were screwed. You know what I mean? And then the match before that was 8 5-minutes. I used to do 8-5 or 8 6 minutes, and I had to do 6. At least I had to do 30 minutes too.
Good Lord!
There were 3-minute rounds, 5-minute rounds. You know what I mean? So it stops, and then if you're getting the heat up on a guy and it stops, and then you had to wait. If you're a single, you had to wait till the bell rings and dive in and try and build the heat again.
That's different. Wow.
Jim Barnett came in and he made 10-minute rounds, and hence the 10-minute matches. When Jim Barnett came to New Zealand, say 70, 71, that was 10-minute match, 10-minute rounds, and then we got to 12-minute rounds, 15-minute rounds. So we got rid of the bloody, the 8 minutes and going through the long time. And all of a sudden went to from British style European wrestling to American wrestling. European wrestling, when you threw a guy down, you had to stay with him. And if you threw him down and you let him go, you couldn't go and touch him. You had to go with him when you went down. I don't know whether you knew that. This is going back.
Yeah,
that's the difference between European and American.
Yeah, any full move, you had to go with them if you wanted to work with them on the mat, and you couldn't stomp or you couldn't punch. You had to do the British upper. You do the forearm like that, or the British uppercut, and you do the knee drop or leg drop. You couldn't kick with your foot.
Huh. You guys are shooting over there.
Yeah.
The police would come in the ring and stop the match. The police were the commission.
Look at that. That's heat.
Unbelievable.
That's different. No, I wasn't aware of that. That's
So
wow.
if you go 85 minutes, that's not a Broadway, right? That's like a Broadway plus like another mile.
5 minutes. How long were shows back then?
That was the European British style. You know what I mean?
So what? So when did you and Butch join forces together?
66.
66. Okay, so you had started training in 62, so you had a couple years under your belt.
I was working as a fag, Sweet William.
Sweet William.
First Gorgeous Teddy Williams, and then I switched to Sweet William. Jim Barnett changed the name. He said that's the Gorgeous Teddy. He changed it to Sweet William, and because I was going over to Australia and working against and I was light then too. You know, when I first started, I was 175 soaking wet.
Oh wow.
62, and then I started going to Australia at about 66, 67, and of course there's Spirit, Arion, Mario Milano, all the and up your way, Dominic DiNucci, Killer Kowalski, Jesus, Tarzan Tyler, all the top guys, Bulldog Brower, Bulldog Brower, King Curtis, Mark Lewin. Wow. Mark Lewin was the booker.
Okay.
Abdullah the Butcher. He had the Japanese Fuji and Tanaka. He had the Von Erichs, Waldo and Fritz Von Erich. It was heavy. It went from British, I went from British wrestling to heavy American wrestling. Would grab a hold and then kick the shit out of them. Babyface grabbed a hold, the heel kicked the shit out of them.
Because you worked in New Zealand and then you worked in Canada for Stu Hart, right?
I went to Australia first for Jim Barnett, where I learned to punch and kick, and then I worked up and then in the late 60s, I worked a lot Singapore, Bangkok, around there, and and Japan, and then 72. In the 60s, I worked against Andre. He was 7'4", 350 pounds with a big afro. Butcher me worked with him a lot in New Zealand. He never come to North America. When we first come to North America, which was Montreal, Andre came in 6 months before us. Mm-hmm. So, and Killer Kowalski, Andre was the main baby, and Killer Kowalski was the main heel. And of course, we knew Killer from Australia, so we knew the two top guys in the territory. And that Grand Prix was running 3 towns a night, and the Rougeos were in the same area, and they were running 1 town a night.
That's you're all over the place.
That's what a history, though.
That's
unbelievable.
I didn't know this history, mate. Chad, I didn't know this history till later. But they said that was in North America, that was a hot spot of wrestling in the early 70s. Toronto, Montreal was drawing the biggest crowds regularly at that time. And of course, they had the main guys, Killer Kowalski, who had sold out Madison Square Gardens in the 60s and 70s. And they got Andre the first time ever, Gene Ferree. Not Andre the Giant, Gene Ferree.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's unbelievable. Just say about news. Dominic DiNucci always says about that WCW, that was like the highlight of his career was back there because he thought that was an unbelievable territory, and the response at the time was off the charts, and that was one of the favorite places he ever worked.
Where?
In Australia.
Yeah. Well, Dominic was a big run down there. See, Australia is full of a lot of people immigrated from Italy and Greece down there, and Australia had towns which were predominantly Greek and Italian. And Mario Milano and Dominic DiNucci, Italian, and then Spiros Arion. I don't know whether you heard of him.
Absolutely.
Big Greek from, and then he worked for Vince Senior a lot, and then he was the big baby face down there, the Greek baby face.
You are incredible. How did you guys did you get recruited to go to WWF at the time?
New Zealand promoter knew the Vachons.
Okay.
Victor and Morris.
Uh-huh.
He met them. I don't know where he met them, and that maybe in Japan. And this is not the same promoter who got me started. Now he's been bought out by another guy in New Zealand and that, who was an ex-detective who hated drugs.
Well.
But he was a drunk. He was a detective, hated drugs, but he was a drunk.
Right.
He ended up being a publican. He owned hotels. Anyhow, funny part is everyone he hired was big druggies, and he had to let guys go in New Zealand because the police gave him a warning. They told him, "We know you guys are a smoke. This is in the 60s and 70s, and we know you guys are smoking weed and that because we've seen them smoking it in the street and that." Then he had to get rid of different guys
in the street. Oh,
yeah. Anyhow,
no other place to do it.
Getting back to the story, Morrison. So that's how we got over. Morris and Butcher brought us over. They owned Grand Prix with Edward Carpentier.
Right.
Okay.
You know, you've heard of Edward Carpentier, the Flying Frenchman.
Absolutely.
Right.
He did the French broadcasting for WWE.
Right.
Okay. So what year did you guys join with Vince?
Vince was 98.
No, 88.
88. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'll give the backstory quickly. So, I mean, Butch and Luke as the sheep herders completely. I remember the first time I saw you guys as a little one, I was scared to death of you because of the bloody matches that you guys had and you're brawling and you're kicking ass. And then when he gets to the WWF in 1988, Vince has a different vision for you guys. You become the Bushwhackers and then become the most lovable tag team that they ever had.
That's what I was going to say. You guys were the cutest, the cutest wrestlers ever. Like you reminded me of big teddy bears.
You know, the funny part is a lot of people down south, they didn't realize we were the same guys. You know when we switched? They said, how can two guys go from being hardcore before hardcore became a name brand to comical? And that was easy. We were in NWA, and we just did an angle with the guy in the wheelchair. Barry
Magnum?
Yeah, Magnum TA.
Magnum TA?
No.
Oh.
Lex.
Lex Luger. Yeah, okay.
And we just done that 2 weeks before that I got the call. We were working with the Rock and Roll Express, NWA, and we got the call, and we were wrestlers in NWA, bloodthirsty and kick-ass ones, and that. But when we went to WWE, we were old enough to know money's money, merchandise.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And
you guys were.
Those days, Vince made you a celebrity.
But you're so versatile that you can do it all. So that you're phenomenal workers. You're a good baby face. You're a great heel. Right?
Actually, about 4 years ago, I did some barbed wire matches.
Oh, Jesus.
as a heel, because the baby face, I was in his hometown, and it was hard too, because the people wanted to cheer me, and I had to go way out to get the heat. You know what I mean?
Yep, I understand. Well, I always I started watching you guys when you were in WWF. So when I would see the Bushwhackers, I just thought you guys were big teddy bears, and I loved the gimmick because it was fun.
I whacked a little bush in my life. But they usually tell me I'm shaved.
That's a little Bushwhacker humor there.
Sure.
But I had a book. I had this book that was called The Big Book of Pro Wrestling. And inside of it was, I got this, it had to be 1987. I mean, you guys are just biting people, ripping the heads, blood everywhere, all over you, all over them. And then when I see you guys marching down the railroad track for the first time, it was like a change in culture. But again, what a lasting legacy. And now you guys are in the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, you'll be forever ingrained in the marching. And like Francine said, you licked the side of her face. I mean, how many people have come up to you over the years with the same story?
Last year too, we went in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame too.
Yeah,
much deserved, right?
Yeah, but that's voted by the past Hall of Famers. That's that Hall of Fame.
Well, may I ask you a question? I just watched it this morning. ECW is where that's what I'm known for. You guys came in for a couple shots. How did Paul call you to do that? Like, how were you contacted, and what was the deal that you did?
We'd only been out of WWF about 4 months or 6 months. And Paul called us for that. And then he said, after that, we'd like to start you, and I'll call you when we need you, in a month or 2 months down the road. Now, at the time, we were hot on the independent circuit.
Okay.
And we had, every weekend, we had 3 bookings, it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Right.
So we came in and worked the 3 shows, and they were in Florida for Paul Lee and that. We're straight up guys. When we tell a person we're gonna work for you, we don't let them down. Now, we were on the marquees for a lot of independent, for a lot of independent workers, months ahead. We got bookings. And that we told Paul, we needed, at least to give them a month, 6 weeks notice, month's notice. Lo and behold, the following Friday, he called us first thing in the morning. He said, we need you tonight for the weekend.
That was classic Paul, though.
Yeah, now we were booked and we were on the marquee for all these independent people who were booking us regularly. You know what I mean? They booked us up for a year. And I said to him, Paul, who did he get to call? The guy with the cane. Who was
Sandman?
Huh?
Sandman?
No, the other guy. Dreamer.
Dreamer?
Yeah, and I said to Dreamer, let me give them a month's notice, and that blah blah blah. So he went back and that, and the next day I called. Well, you don't want us then. You don't need us then. That Paul doesn't need you.
Oh
man.
See that? Because you came in and you did the Dudleys.
Well, that was the whole storyline. We come in as the Dudleys and that, and we're going to work with Sandman and his partner. Who was Sandman's partner?
In the match I saw, it was Dreamer.
It was Dreamer, yeah.
Yeah, so we were actually going to come in and do a thing and then shoot an angle with Sandman and Dreamer. That was the whole storyline.
Yeah, because then it was just like you were gone. And I never knew what happened. Because we've had people come in and out, Scott Hall worked for us for a weekend. Like, people just didn't stay. It was like a revolving door. But I had heard that we were supposed to use you more, but I never knew the backstory to what happened.
Yeah, so that was it. He was going to give us a month's notice, come in to start your reception, right? But it was Paul. I heard that he changed the television, and he did that a lot. That's why the air tickets I heard the people who were buying the air tickets and that they were banged up because there was a lot of last minute air tickets. And 3 weeks out, after 3 weeks out, the tickets triple.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well, I feel bad because you guys got a great reaction. You got a heel reaction when you came out.
Yeah, but there's a few things in life where I should have said, fuck the independents. And then Paul may fuck the independent people, but then Paulie may have used this for that one angle and said bye-bye.
It's true. You never know. I know.
But we would have got some super heat. We would have got over there. I'm sure we would have got over.
You did. You did that one match. I'm telling you, I just watched it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about getting over the draw money. You don't get over the first night. A lot of territories as heels, Butcher and me got the first week. We had people throwing stuff after they saw us on television, but we didn't have the heat to draw the house. It takes time, a month, 6 weeks to get the drawing power.
With what I mean? You and Butch though had such. Everybody knew who you were, and
chemistry.
Everybody knows who you guys are. Coming in as heels, especially with Dudley shirts on, that's instant heat.
Oh yeah.
Because the Dudleys were they were like the top heels in the company at this point. So with you just wearing that shirt, you automatically had that heat siding with their side. Yeah. So you guys it would have been fun to see because you didn't wrestle that match. You drew Bubba and Devon into the ring. You guys didn't work at all. And you were getting booed out of the building. You didn't even have to do anything. You didn't even take a bump.
No, the matches were easy. Those 3 days were easy.
But you know what? You could have seen the sheep herders come back at some point. If had the ECW thing worked out, you guys could have been back to that old school sheep herder mode of the hardcore before hardcore was hardcore.
Yeah. We started doing those barbed wire cage matches and fire matches and stuff like that in the early 80s. In the late 70s, early 80s, we first started getting into that sort of stuff. You know, four-way chain matches and that.
Right. Well, I can't believe that you're still, 74, you look great. It's in your blood. I know, being a worker, everybody you're always going to be a wrestler. That's it.
Did you and Joey Styles rehearse your interactions on TV? He always had the best reactions to you in ring.
We never rehearsed. Sometimes might say, I'm trying to think of, it might have been Heat Wave 98 where I give him the boo. I don't know what that's called.
The motorboat?
Motorboat, is that what that's called?
I guess it would be a motorboat, motorboat.
I think he knew that ahead of time. Like, I think we told him I was going to do that. And I think he was worried about his wife because she didn't like stuff like that. I don't think she liked when I kissed him on the cheek. But we never rehearsed. For the most part, 90% of the time, I would just try and either pop him or embarrass him, And I remember one promo, there was, I dropped, Shane and I opened the show and I dropped Joey dropped something and he looked up my dress. And then I grab him and I pick him up and I'm mad at him. And then I give him a kiss on the cheek because I'm like, I don't care. Because, my character was like that. Stuff like that. Yes, we knew. But little things, if I would walk by him in the ring or grab him or do something, I never told him I was doing any of that. Just to pop him. And he'd give me that look oh, you're going to get me in trouble. Sorry. Because the crowd ate that stuff up. They liked it. So why not? And he was great.
Genuine, you could tell.
Joey and I were very good friends and we had such a good rapport with each other. And I always would tell him on commentary, you can say whatever you want and I will never, ever get mad at you. I told him, you have full liberties. Go at me. And he would be like, are you sure? I'm like, honey, 100%. And all right. So, and he let me have it sometimes. And I was fine with it, So, and sometimes he would apologize. I'm like, no need. It was great. Come on.
Never anything that you felt crossed the line at all?
No, never.
Nothing.
The only thing I didn't like that was said was when Paul Heyman told Sinister Minister to say, eat a sandwich. Because that's when I was having trouble with the sheets and my weight.
Okay.
And that made me cry. That hit home to me. And I was just like, I'm so self-conscious about my weight and how I look. And then you had to throw that in there. That pissed me off and that hurt my feelings. Other than that, nothing ever bothered me.
Your response should have been, why don't you do some fake Coke on another
show's
this was pay-per-view
in
25 years and get him kicked off their television network.
No, that wasn't relevant at that time. So.
Yeah, that's messed up. See that? That's
I didn't
to me.
Like that.
Yeah, that's something that even if that's a given line, that's one that crosses the line. Even then, that's shock value for the sake of shock value, and that's hurtful.
Literally went to Paul crying and asked him to take it off, and he wouldn't. Which that pissed me off.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That one sucks.
Yeah, but otherwise, can't complain.
AEW Double or Nothing 2024. This is pretty much their big marquee show, Double or Nothing.
Yeah. 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5-year anniversary. This is a biggie. It's funny to think 5 years. That's quite the milestone. That's nothing to shake a stick at. 5 years.
No, it's not. And hopefully it'll be another 50 years or 100 years for the company if they can get their shit together. So, yeah, I'm rooting for them.
That's the key phrase. If they can get their shit together.
Yep.
That I'll kind of dive into, but there were some pretty good highlights of it too.
Oh, I'm sure the pay-per-view was excellent. I didn't watch it yet. as of us sitting down together, but I probably will. I'm still watching King and Queen of the Ring, and I'm halfway through that one. So I have to get through that one first, and then I'll probably head on over and watch AEW after that. So, but I'm sure I heard it was pretty, from what I read anyway. I didn't hear about, too much.
A lot of cool stuff, happened on this show. We had some new champions crowned. We had Mercedes Moné won one of their women's championships. I believe it was the I want to get it, the TBS. Yep, the TBS Women's Championship. Yep. So congratulations. That was her first AEW wrestling match since she joined the company.
Did you think they weren't going to put the belt on her? I was kind of convinced that she was getting it.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
They had another Will Ospreay also now.
So good.
Yep, he's also now champion. He is what is his championship? He's not FTW. He is, what's his championship? I just had it in front of me.
Intercontinental?
No, it's something like that. Is it international?
Well, it's the same as the Intercontinental belt, kind of secondary TV belt, or
yes, international, AEW International Championship.
No, I have a newfound respect for Will. I watched him on Hey EW.
Yes.
With my friend RJ City, who's doing phenomenal, by the way.
Absolutely.
And did you know that he was autistic and dyslexic and just a plethora of disabilities with this guy? He said he couldn't even read his contract.
I heard
it read to him.
Yeah, I'd heard that. That's
so amazing story that you can be successful, if you just work. And you could achieve any goal no matter what your setbacks are.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenal. Really, really good at what he does, man. I didn't know much about him like the last year or so, but I've been watching some of his matches and he's really good. Like really good.
Yeah.
So and then when I heard that about him, I was just like, bravo. That's great. Good stuff.
Yeah, very good. One of the best in the world.
Sure.
Adam Copeland, he reunited with Gangrel last night. It was a Brood reunion,
right?
So that was pretty cool. They had
a little tidbit with that is, didn't he pitch that for something with WWE? They won't remember.
Yeah, they basically had that on a silver platter.
How do you not remember? Of course they would have remembered. That to me was the most idiotic thing I had ever heard in my life. Wrestling fans remember everything. Come on.
Yeah, that was like literally on a silver platter for them. I believe, was it at WrestleMania something really big, and he was told no. And I was just like, I heard that, and I was just like, man. When they always bring in like the old timers to do things on their television, they've always gotten a pop. People always remember. That made me think, is there heat? Because Dave is one of the nicest guys. Like, he's an easygoing dude. He's really, really nice. Like, why wouldn't they want to bring him in for that segment? That. I was just so mad when I heard that. I was like, get out of here. So I'm glad they got to do it over there. And good reaction. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Ridiculous.
And I think Gangrel's quietly been in every company now. He's been everywhere.
He's all over the place. That's great.
So there's that, and there's also the return of MJF.
Yes, and he looked like a freaking monster. His body has like transformed. Not that he wasn't built before, but he looks like a Triple H clone, kind of, sort of, with the denim and the just his overall appeirance. Looks like a beast.
Yeah, he looked very Triple H inspired with the denim and the sleeves. He had his little scarf thing on the back of the jacket, but the tan with the denim and the black and somebody this was great. Somebody put a acapella version of the game theme song over his entrance. I mean, it did fit really well. I listened to the promo. It was 5 minutes of just yelling and the fans chanting every single end of his sentence.
Okay.
And at the end of it, he reveals a tattoo that basically says he's, with AEW going forward. And again, stay there. That's great for AEW. But, I wasn't really, I didn't love the promo. Did you see the promo?
No, I didn't see the promo. I didn't read the whole transcript, but I read a little bit of it. And then I was watching the South Park Ozempic episode. And I stopped looking at my timeline. So I didn't see it. But it was all over my timeline. So, people were very interested in his return. So.
Yeah, it puts it into the question of, is he going to leave? Is he not going to leave? He's going to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, where was he going to fit in WWE at this point anyway?
I don't know, but I think he would have done well there. I really do, unless they buried him. But I think he has all the tools now because he's not that kid that just walked in off the street. You know what I mean? Like, he's got enough under his belt to be a star elsewhere. But it's good that he's, staying where he's homegrown. And I think he's going to do well. He probably got a boatload of money to stay. And good for him. He's still young. That's the thing. He's still a young kid.
Yeah.
But good for him.
What his big line was, I don't need a New Japan or a Vince McMahon to make MJF because MJF made MJF.
Good for him.
Okay, I do like that line.
Sure.
Because it's all about, it's in AEW, they constantly are bringing in outside talent outside of their core roster. So I like the fact that he's never left to go anywhere else. He's always been there and on the indies is building his name. So that was pretty good. He also kind of ripped the prior booking and said, he's not going to be making friends. He's not going to be the buddy anymore. He spit on the devil mask and that whole thing and said, that's done. It's all over. It's back to who he was and the original MJF. So that's good. But it was too long and it was too yelly. And it was just the him and the language I hate. It's just too much. He overuses that as a crutch. So I thought it was,
I didn't like
overkill.
I didn't like him when he was Adam Cole's best friend.
That was stupid. That was very dumb.
Not even it was stupid. It was just the baby face version of him didn't have the oomph.
It neutered him. They made him. It wasn't like he was
just so generic. It's been done before, and I just didn't. I didn't think that it showed his potential as a character. I saw him as a sidekick and not the main event kind of thing. And now he's back to like a main event guy.
Right.
So, good for him.
Well, he had also done it before too. The same storyline. That's why I thought it was kind of stupid. That's why he had just done this. So whatever he says, that's done. Moving on. So the big one coming out of this is their big marquee, like original AEW match. They call it Anarchy in the Arena. Jim Cornette calls it football field fuckery because when they did it in Jacksonville, they would go into the football field at Jacksonville. But this is called Anarchy in the Arena. This is where they go all over the place. They all over the arena. False count anywhere is, I guess, was what we would call it.
Okay.
But the climax and the end is what everybody's been talking about.
And I did not see this. So are you able to bring it up? I'm
going to bring up the big spot here.
Okay. And we'll just cover it up so we don't get in trouble, right?
The big spot here was a part at the end where they were going through the back, and Jack Perry grabs Tony Khan out of the gorilla position. We don't know where he's going with him. He's bringing him through the tunnel. Out of the other tunnel comes Darby Allin with a flamethrower, right?
Okay.
Where he then shoots Jack Perry on fire. So we'll see that. That's the one angle. And then we're going to get the other angle, which is a fan angle to see as the fire was shooting.
I saw that.
Where Tony Khan ended up during the fracas.
I saw that.
We're going to see two videos.
Okay. Yeah. The latter part I saw, but the first one I did not, but I read about it. So.
Jack Perry.
And Jack Perry is part of the elite, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And he can't get fired because he's got an ironclad contract attached to the Young Bucks in the storyline. Yeah.
Perfect. That looks like a video game version that I'm looking at right. Look at it.
It does.
It does. Okay.
Jack Perry got something that
Oh, he's looking. He's giving the camera the Iggy like Mr. Roper. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, here, look. Oh, there's the Jackson brothers currently set next to fire extinguishers.
Oh, Tony Schiavone? Cursing? What's happening? Everybody's selling. Okay. Everybody's looking. What's going on? Did they do anything yet?
Where our Jack Perry? We need to get a camera on that. What the hell happened with Tony?
Where'd he go?
Yeah, it's the owner of the company.
Here comes Darby Allin. He's got a flamethrower.
The flamethrower. Oh my God.
Oh, okay. So he already threw Tony?
No, not yet.
Where is he?
Somebody was a little early on their cue.
Oh, there they are. Okay. Wow. He's still lighting them on fire. Okay. Okay. Now, can I say something?
Yeah.
If it's supposed to be okay, if this is supposed to be like something on the fly, I'm gonna light them on fire. Nobody knows I'm coming out. Why would you have 87 men with fire extinguishers waiting?
That's the Young Bucks. They were sitting there. If you catch the camera angle, they caught them on the side of the entrance, right next to them, and then the referees tucked right next to them with the fire extinguishers.
Cool spot, but that's why it looks friggin' planned. I'm ready. Light me on fire and then put the fire out. You know what I'm saying? Like that looked so planned. And I know it's wrestling and I know it's a work and blah,
Here's the
blah,
camera
blah.
angle. Look at
there
that.
They are. They're ready to go. I don't know, man.
That's pretty bad. And then I think Darby comes out a little early. And it's just standing there with this flamethrower looking for somebody that doesn't come out. And they're just like... Well,
you know, you have people in Gorilla who send the workers out because sometimes you can't see the monitor. So maybe somebody sent them out early. You know? I don't know. This is like... Come on. It's a cool spot, though.
It is a cool spot. No, and I think it looked great on camera. And it, you know, I guess whatever he was wearing on his legs was, you know, that flame catching, you know.
Because that's the part that really lit.
Yeah, that was that material, right? So that looked really cool.
Right.
But at the same time, like, you got to do it perfect so it doesn't look like you were sitting there waiting for it. And then, oh my God, your tag team partners had the extinguishers right there. So now let me pull up the second part that also has been going around.
Okay.
Which is the other alternate angle, which is a fan angle.
Yeah, like if you're in the crowd and you can't catch all this stuff, well, you know, it probably looked like cool as hell. But when you see something like this, it's just like, really? Come on. And we don't want Jack Perry to be lit on fire and die and get, you know, 3rd-degree burns or anything like, or 1st-degree burns, whatever. But it was just so obvious within 2 seconds. Here's the fire extinguisher.
Yeah. All right. So now here's another take. So here's the fire you see up in the corner.
Yeah, I see it.
This gentleman here on the ground is one Tony Khan.
Okay.
Escaping the fire.
Yeah. Big fan. Wow, he got out of there with like seconds of his life being over. Wow.
I mean, this
roll. He's trying to protect himself. I wish he would have did like a slip and slide. Like tried to slide down it, you know. That would have been cool.
I mean, what if you were a part of this and they dragged you out of Gorilla, wouldn't you be standing there wanting to see what happened? You're rolling out of there and then getting back in the backstage area.
The company, he's got people to call. He's got to call the insurance company for several reasons. I don't know. Who knows?
I gotta say, I like that they went for it. The spot with Perry looked good, but this is the stuff that people are ripping to shreds about them.
I was just going to ask you, like, what is the internet saying about this? Like, are they?
Well, you get your AEW fans that think it was great. And, you know, I'm reading the CBS Sports review of AEW. They gave the match an A+.
Okay.
I mean, like, but then I'm looking at the next match, B+, the next match, A, the next match, A-, the next match, A-, the next match, B-. So they can't do any wrong to this person. But then the other side of it is going, this is the stupidest thing they've done yet. This is almost as bad as when they had that pyro in the ring where Eddie Kingston jumped on John Moxley and the pyro was like, pop, pop.
It was a sparkler.
Pop. It was like the pyro I set off last night outside the house for Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, unfortunately in this business, some things look really good on paper. And then when they're executed, they don't happen the way you plan them to happen. And there's fails. And the biggest fail is the Shockmaster. That probably looked great on paper. And then look what happened with that. Like, stuff happens. And especially in this day and age with fans and their cell phones, you know, they can catch things that would never be aired. And then it tarnishes stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, seeing things through the eyes of a fan rather than what was actually printed or shown on television or on pay-per-view, that could just make it horrible for the viewers. Because once you know the secrets, then it's like, wah, wah.
Yeah.
So if you're watching, I don't know, it was the first angle a fan shot, or was it literally shown on the pay-per-view?
No, that was the first thing we watched was the pay-per-view.
Okay. So that was a bad camera angle. That was a really bad camera angle. They should have never shown the Bucks hiding behind a wall with fire extinguishers in front of them. That should have never been shown. Even if they were late coming out or whatever, they should have. They could have showed like a crowd shot or a close up on somebody like reacting to like, oh my God, it's Jack Perry and Tony Khan. Like there are other cutaways that they could have done instead of focusing on something that you knew was going to happen, because it kind of gave it away.
They went to it 3 times. I'm watching it again while you're talking. They went to the shot 3 times, you could see one of the Jackson boys going to it and setting up the extinguisher.
Right. Yeah, it gives
so
it away.
Bad.
You know something's coming, which is such a letdown, because it was a cool spot. Like, if I didn't see that, I would have been like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. But seeing that, I know something with fire is going to happen, you know?
Yeah, and then Darby comes out and is looking for somebody to shoot.
Because he's not there yet.
Right, and then he goes back into this little center area where he should have just gone straight to when he came out with the flamethrower.
Yeah. What he should have did was he should have threatened to whoever he saw. He should have was just pretending to threaten to set them on fire.
Hold it up and
improvise. Yeah. I mean, it's just overall, I don't think this came off the way that they wanted it to, you know, and it was a cool visual to see Jack's legs on fire, but it wasn't executed, I think, the way that, you know,
I agree.
They pictured it being executed. So kind of a fail, of course. But the concept was pretty cool. It's a shame. Because again, I don't want them to fail. I don't like sitting here ripping on that company. You know, I want them to succeed. I will still watch the pay-per-view eventually. And, you know, as far as that guy giving them A+, A-, blah, blah, blah. Again, you like what you like. And whether you liked it or you hated it, they seem to be here to stay, and they're trying. And you can't knock them for trying. And sometimes when you try, you fail, you know? So not saying the overall pay-per-view was a fail, but this segment kind of fell a little flat for me.
Yeah.
So
happy 5-year anniversary.
And, you know, it's a shame because they do have really strong people working there. You know, that could have went off so much better than it did. So I don't know who sent them out late, who did what. There were certain things that could have been done to make it look better, and it just fell a little flat. unfortunately.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But it looked cool.
Once his legs were on fire, yes, that looked cool. It just seems like anything Tony does is comical. So him rolling down the ramp and scurrying off the stage and getting out of there, he was scared. He was scared for his life, just like he was scared when CM Punk was in the back. He was scared for his life, and he had to get out of there.
If you combine his actions with Vince McMahon's facials, that's a hell of a team, because Vince McMahon had the best facials on camera.
Yeah. Well, Vince McMahon also had the best strut down the aisle.
He did. But those, when Vince was in trouble and he would give you those facials, or like he'd give you the exaggerated gulp or something like that. He was, he was great. So mix that with that roll, or, those looks that Tony gives you. I think that they made a great team.
He's learning.
I'm sorry. There was only one outfit I noticed that night.
Oh, Shane's?
There's only one right there.
That's it.
He's got one of the last ones that's out there. Perfectly rated.
Do you notice I'm wearing boy shorts instead of a thong?
Oh, I did not.
Yes, look. I was telling everyone, I said, look, this isn't 1997. I can't wear a thong. I have to wear boy shorts to cover up the goods because,
And then I'm going to give C-Dub his due. I mean, the dude is in amazing shape.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks unbelievable. So
he looks great.
This was such a great pairing.
Yeah.
And, as cool as the Al and Shane pairing with you would have been, this was the perfect replacement for that match.
So fun. I mean, it was a shorter match, but it was to the point. We had the crowd the whole time. We didn't drag it out to where we lost them. They were always popping for falses. Like, it was great. It was awesome. Great. We were all so happy with it. And I was just so happy to work with those two guys, and so fun. So then we got back to the hotel, and my Impact friends call me and say, well, we're back from the matches, so come to the bar. And I had a bucket of Fireball, a bucket with the little, the little guys, but a big bucket.
Yep.
So we bring the bucket down and we go in the bar, and it's all the Impact boys and me and Betty, because that's how I roll.
Ride or die.
And we closed the bar down. So I was there until 2:15 in the morning, drinking Fireball and getting healed by the waitress. I walked in with one of my Not Your Father root beers, and thank God it was done, because if she would have did this, I would have taken her down. She goes, you can't have this in here. And she gets her little grubby paw and she takes it off the table. Anybody who brought a beer or something in, she would take it. And I kind of understand that, because they're serving alcohol. But like people, like guys like Nick Nemeth and Brian Myers and stuff were buying drinks the whole time.
Right.
So we were giving them business. It wasn't like we were smuggling or and stuff. So when I had the Fireball, I had to put it between my legs and put a jacket over it. So and then every time she'd walk away, we'd all take a little one and we'd do like a shot of it. And then like Brian would go and throw out the stuff, and then we still had the bucket. But we would have to wait until old Grinchy would walk away, and because she was healing everybody. So
I to that, you know what I mean? Like you drink that one, and it's going to get you buying more drinks.
They were buying drinks, and like I think there was a huge tip left for the woman. Like, she was taken care of. So it wasn't like we were being Gavoni and just taking our own stuff in. There were drinks all over the table. Lou D'Angeli was there, who I was so happy, because I haven't seen him, my God, in forever. There is one story. There was a guy, this is kind of funny. I have a new gimmick, and I'll tell you what it is in a second.
All right.
There's a fan that kept coming over to the table and was very persistent, and he wanted Nick to take a picture with him, and Nick would say, I'll get with you in 5 minutes, right? And the guy would be like, okay. He wasn't a young kid, he was like a man,
right? And
then he'd wait maybe 10-15 minutes. He'd come back and go, hey, Dolph, or whatever you call it, how about that picture? And we were in the middle of a conversation or whatever. I'll get you in 5 minutes. So when he came back again, Lou, sign guy Dudley, was like, bro. And he stepped in and he was like, let me tell you something. He goes, we're just trying to hang out and have a good time. Can you leave us alone for, for a while? And then maybe we'll get you on the way out and blah, blah, blah. So he goes, you better tell the kid with the glasses. He's talking to Lou now. You better tell that kid with the glasses that he needs to stay in his lane. Right. And Lou's like, is he talking to me? So then like Nick jumps between them and I'm thinking there's going to be like this huge fight. So I jump up because you know how I am. I jump up and I jump between him and Nick and I take the guy and I bring him to the other side of the bar. And I say, listen, buddy, I say, can you just give these guys a break? I said, we just had a huge show. We haven't seen each other in years. Everybody's just chilling. We're just, when you're with your friends and you want to have a good time, you don't want to be bothered. I said, these guys are always bothered. And I was real diplomatic and very sweet. And the man says to me, you're the only person that's level-headed at that whole table. And I said, well, I try to be. And I said, we just want to have a good time with each other. We're all real tight friends. And he goes, out of respect for you, I will leave you alone. And I was like, but I was with this guy for probably 10 minutes, trying to talk him down.
To talk some sense into
him. Yeah, because they would have kicked the shit out of him. I mean, there's no way this guy was going to fight a whole table of wrestlers.
Step away. I would have been like, got to tie my shoe. Get him.
Oh, no. So when I came back, I said, you all are welcome. You will now refer to me as the peacemaker. That is my new gimmick. I am the peacemaker because he did not come back until the very end. And at the very end, somebody grabs me and says, okay, can you help me get a picture? And I thought he was going to say with Nick again. And he goes, with Hornswoggle. And I said, I will ask him. And I said, Dylan, will you and Dylan was gracious. Yes. But this was towards like the end of the night. You know what I mean? But I thought there was legit going to be a fight. And I will put myself over and say, I calmed the situation down. And without me, it might have escalated, but I don't, I just try to make peace and love wherever I go.
Alone. No one to walk
away. I mean, we were literally in the back. We had like a table that sat maybe 12 people. So we were all the way like away from everybody. And, people were looking at us to see what was going on. Because people are in town for WrestleMania. There's wrestling shirts all over the place.
Probably great aroma.
Oh, it smelled like weed throughout the whole hotel.
Oh, Jesus.
That's the only smell I smelled all weekend was weed. And I'm not a weed smoker. So I was just like, oh my God, who has what? Like it was prominent even outside. Outside, it was like it would hit you. As soon as you went out the front door, it hit you in the face. Like it was crazy.
But you know what? That's another reason why I had like no interest in going if I didn't have any specific business to be there. Because all of my people, you, Shane, whoever, you guys are A, working, and then B, you guys are going to be with your buds. What am I going to do? Just sit there and stand and just like an idiot on the side? No, that's why I had no interest in being there because you guys are going to be busy all weekend.
Yeah, it was. That was the most fun night was Friday night. And then like I love Brian Myers. Can I just say I love Brian Myers? He was wearing an ECW jacket. And I go, oh, I like your jacket. I want that. And he takes it off and gives it to me. And he had like a tank top. And I go, no, baby, you're going to be cold. They're like, stop being a mom. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So now I have my own ECW jacket. And I told him, I said, I'll never sell it. I love it. I just don't have one because I never had this particular one that he gave me. But I thought that was so sweet of him. So
very nice.
My boyfriend
original? Is it
no, I don't think so, but it's cool. It says ECW like on the side and then a big ECW on the back. It's like the black silk.
Oh, nice. Okay. I know.
Is it a baseball jacket kind
of thing? Yes, I know exactly the one.
I like it. It fits me perfectly. And I just thought that was very sweet of him to do. Because I kept saying, I'm only kidding. He's like, you should have it. This was meant for you. And I was like, oh, you're so sweet.
It's your destiny.
Yeah, I love him. So then I don't know if this was Friday or Saturday, I can't remember what day, but I did get to see my Major Bendie in person, and I did get to see my Zombie Sailor action figure in person. Both are brilliant. If you missed out on the Major Bendie, what a shame.
Yes,
because it is such a unique figure in the whole toy line. Like, it's so different from that is Zombie Sailor.
Zombie Sailor. Yep.
That is Zombie Sailor. That's a pretty good picture of me, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We're using that for the thumbnail.
Okay, great. But her face, the dolls, I can't call it. Matt Cardona screamed at me.
That's an action figure. That is an action figure.
That's an action figure. The face, my toenails are red. My tips of my fingers were French manicured on this action figure. It looks exactly like the picture. The dress to the T. I mean, the features are unreal. Shane's action figure had the boots with the tassels.
Yeah.
Wonderful work. I cannot wait until this action figure is released, which I'm not. He said maybe August, September, but then they told the boys told me it might take a little longer. But perfection takes time, and they do such articulate work. Look at that. Me, Sandman, and Shane. Unreal. Are they not like the greatest things you've ever seen?
When I got a chance to see this, I couldn't believe how good they looked.
So good.
I mean, look at this. They got the smirk on Shane. Like perfectly. Yeah. They got this. Your whole thing is absolute perfection. These are unbelievable.
It is. It really is. And I wasn't keen on, this outfit, but it worked. And Josh kept telling me it's going to work. Please trust me. Please trust me. I was like, all right, And then I saw it. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was being difficult. I just didn't like the picture that you chose of me. But I think it came out beautiful. All three of them are just incredible. And I cannot wait until they come out.
Now, do you know, will they be sold separately or together?
I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know if it's a heels and face. I think it's called the heels and faces line.
Yep, heels and faces.
I don't know if they're going to offer like an individual, maybe a 2-pack as well for Shane and I. We didn't discuss that yet. So, there's still some time before they're going to be released anyway. So I'm sure we'll go over all that. But I was literally blown away.
Yeah. Your Major Bendie is due to come out in July.
Okay.
So you got to see was that the prototype that they had with them? Okay.
Yeah. I saw the bloody and the non-bloody one. They're cute. They're different. You know what I mean? They're just different and they're cute. And man, so blessed at this age to be even involved in this kind of stuff. I never would have thought I'd have so much going on, at this stage in the game. But and then, the rest of the weekend was just busy.
Wait, hang on. You forgot one more thing. You forgot. You are, I would like to congratulate you.
Yes.
On your induction into the Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Why did I? Yep. There. Okay. So there we are. Gary Wolf and Angel Orsini are the founders. And not only was I inducted into the Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame, but I am their very first ambassador.
Wow.
So that's the second award that I was gifted that evening. And I said, well, what does this entail? Am I going to be very busy over the next year? I think it's just like if you see talent that you feel is worthy enough to be, recommended for the hall, you tell us, and then they go and they watch. And so I can be like a talent scout for the hall and help them out. But I'm the first one they chose. So that's an honor in itself. So there's my plaque, and you could see me taking the picture in the shadow.
Okay. Sorry. Got a close-up picture of the plaque.
I couldn't get it without that shadow, but there it is. And I was very, very honored, and I did a bunch of press for it as well. I guess that'll be coming out soon, but a huge honor for me. So I'm very happy to be a part of that. Hey there, it is the Queen of Extreme, Francine from ECW. Do you want to see more of me? Click over here to watch another video. or click over here to listen to my podcast. As always,